Irregular verbs in English from espressoenglish.net. Did you know that about 70% of the time when we use a verb in English, it's irregular? Irregular verbs can make you go crazy, but in fact, they follow some patterns. In this lesson, you'll learn groups of irregular verbs that will help you remember them better. The first group is irregular verbs with all three forms identical. These verbs are the same in the present, past, and past participle. One example is put. Present. I always put the milk in the refrigerator. Past. Yesterday I put the books in my backpack. The present perfect uses the past participle form. I've already put the documents in the mail. Other verbs with all three forms identical include bet, burst, cost, cut, fit, hit, hurt, let, put, quit, set, shut, split, and spread. The next group is verbs with identical present and past participle forms. The only different form is the past. Come, came, come. Become, became, become. Run, ran, run. A number of irregular verbs have n in the past participle. These can be divided into 4 subgroups, with o in the past and past participle, with o in the past only, verbs with the past form ending in ew and the past participle in own, and other. Subgroup 1. Break, broke, broken. Choose, chose, chosen. Forget, forgot, forgotten. Get, got, gotten. Speak, spoke, spoken. Steal, stole, stolen. Wake, woke, woken. Wear, wore, worn. In this subgroup, the vowel changes to o in the past and past participle. Subgroup 2 has o in the past but not in the past participle. Drive, drove, driven. Ride, rode, ridden. Rise, rose, risen. Write, wrote, written. Notice that the sound of the I changes from the present to the past participle. The present is drive, and the past participle is not driven, but driven. Subgroup 3. Verbs ending in EW in the past and OWN in the past participle. Fly, flew, flown. Grow, grew, grown. Know, knew, known. Throw, threw, thrown. Finally, we have subgroup 4, other. These verbs have n in the past participle, but don't appear to follow any other pattern. Bite, bit, bitten. Hide, hid, hidden. Eat, ate, eaten. Fall, fell, fallen. Give, gave, given. See, saw, seen. Shake, shook, shaken. Take, took, taken. Another group of irregular verbs is verbs with pronunciation changes. For example, long E to short E. Keep, kept, kept. Sleep, slept, slept. Feel, felt, felt. Bleed, bled, bled. Feed, fed, fed. Meet, met, met. Lead, led, led. Another group has EA pronounced differently from the present to the past and past participle. Deal, dealt, dealt. Mean, meant, meant. Read, read, read. Hear, heard, heard. Another group is when the long I changes to OU. Bind, bound, bound. Find, found, found. Grind, ground, ground. Wind, wound, wound. Short I can change to U. Dig, dug, dug. Stick, stuck, stuck. Spin, spun, spun. Sting, stung, stung. Two very common verbs, sell and tell, become sold and told in the past and past participle. Finally, we have the verbs with ought endings in the past and past participle. This can be spelled O-U-G-H-T or A-U-G-H-T, but the pronunciation is the same. Bring, brought, brought. Buy, bought, bought. Catch, caught, caught. Fight, fought, fought. Seek, sought, sought. Teach, taught, taught. Think, thought, thought. Remember that the G is silent in these verbs. Verbs with 3 different vowels. In this group, the vowel changes from I to A to U. Begin, began, begun. Drink, drank, drunk. Ring, rang, rung. Shrink, shrank, shrunk. Sing, sang, sung. Sink, sank, sunk. Spring, sprang, sprung. Swim, swam, swum. Finally, we have the completely irregular verbs. These verbs don't follow any specific pattern, so you just need to memorize their past and past participle forms. The verb to be is am, is, or are in the present, was or were in the past, and been in the past participle. Do, did, done. Go, went, gone. Have, had, had. Make, made, made. Thanks for watching English Tips from Espresso English. If you liked this video, please share it. The key to fluent English that most students don't use. If you speak with a lot of pauses and hesitations, but you want to speak fluently and naturally like a native speaker, the secret is learn to think in English. Many English students say, "It's too difficult. I don't know enough English words. I need to think in my native language and translate." However, thinking in your native language and translating results in sentences that don't sound natural in English, because the sentence structure is often different in English and your native language. In addition, it takes too much time to think and translate when you're in a conversation, leading to pauses, hesitations, and the inability to speak fast and fluently. So, here is how you can learn to think in English from the beginner level to advanced. Level 1 is thinking in individual English words. For example, when you wake up in the morning, think of words like bed, toothbrush, bathroom, eat, banana, coffee, clothes, and shoes. Then, when you go to work, think of words like car, job, company, desk, computer, paper, pencil, colleague, and boss. During the day, continue to think of the individual English words for everything you see, hear, and do. Try this exercise right now. Look around you and think of all the English words you can. I'd imagine you can think of at least 10 words. Level 2 is thinking in complete English sentences. On this level, you think in complete phrases and sentences during the day. When you're eating lunch, think, I'm eating a sandwich. My friend is drinking soda. This restaurant is very good. When you're watching TV, think, that actress is beautiful. The journalist has black hair. He's talking about politics. It's okay if the sentences are very simple. The most important part is to practice and develop the habit of thinking in complete sentences. Level 3 is functional English. On this level, you imagine having to use English for everything that you need to do. After every time you speak in your native language, think of how you would say that in English. For example, how would you buy a train ticket or order a drink in an English-speaking country? A round-trip ticket to Central Station, please. Could I have a lemonade with no sugar? This helps develop your English for real-life situations, even though you are only thinking and not speaking. If during this exercise you don't know how to say something, check your dictionary later. If you do this kind of mental practice regularly, you will develop the ability to use English in any everyday situation. Level 4 is narrative English, telling a story or speaking for a long time in English. It's best to do this exercise when you have some time, like when you're waiting in line or taking public transportation. Think of a memory or story that you would like to tell an English-speaking friend. Then, tell the story in your head in English. Because you are only thinking, not speaking, you can relax and do your best without all the pressure of a real conversation. I hope you can see that you don't need to be super advanced to learn to think in English. You can start today. Try one of the 4 levels this week, thinking in individual words, complete sentences, functional English, or narrative English. Thinking in English is the biggest tip for increasing your fluency because it makes you more confident and helps you speak more easily without hesitation. The next lesson is about correcting your English errors. You'll learn 5 of the most common English errors, and I'll explain how to fix them.
Being or been from espressoenglish.net.
Be is the base form of the verb. Use be after to. Here are some verbs in English that are often followed by to. Hope. I hope to be as wise as my father someday. Learn. She's learning to be less concerned about other people's opinions. Need. You need to be ready to leave by 6:30. Plan. We're planning to be in London from the 18th to the 23rd. Pretend. My kids are pretending to be superheroes. Promise. I promise to be on time for the meeting. Try. He said he'd try to be more patient. Want. I want to be fluent in English. Would like. I'd like to be a pilot. It seems like an exciting job. Also, use be after should, could, and would. For example, you should be ashamed. This could be interesting. I would be happy to help. After should, could, and would, always use the base form of the next verb. Being is the continuous form of the verb. You can use it after am, is, and are in the present continuous, and was and were in the past continuous. We can't access the internet right now because the network is being restarted. We often see this structure, is being, in the passive voice. Someone is restarting the network. The network is being restarted. Here's an example in the past continuous. When I said that dress doesn't look good on you, I was just being honest. You can also use being after verbs that are followed by the ing form, like avoid, enjoy, can't stand, don't mind, look forward to, practice, spend time, and stop. Here are a couple examples. Stop being lazy and help me wash the dishes. I enjoy being in a position of leadership. She can't stand being lied to. Always use being and not be or been after prepositions. For example, I was in the hospital for a month after being in a car accident. That's the problem with being late all the time. People stop trusting you. The best part of being a teacher is interacting with the students. She got an award for being the best salesperson in the company. Been is the past participle. Use it after the verbs have and has in the present perfect and had in the past perfect. For example, I've been busy lately. Have you ever been to London? My car has been stolen. Those three examples are in the present perfect, and here's one in the past perfect. By the time he showed up, we'd been waiting for an hour. You can also use been after could have, should have, and would have. For example, you should have been on time for your job interview. The presentation would have been better if we'd done more preparation. He could have been injured badly when he fell off his motorcycle. If you'd like to clear up your doubts about confusing English words, check out my ebook, 600 Plus Confusing English Words Explained. It has more than 200 pages and over 5 hours of audio to help you master these words.
Everyday English Phrases and Expressions. Part 1. Everyday spoken English is full of small phrases and expressions that you often don't find in English textbooks because they're rather informal. However, knowing and understanding these phrases is important because they are common in English conversation. In this lesson, you'll learn 8 phrases and expressions. Number 1. I'll say. This expression is used when you strongly agree with what the other person said. Often, we use it to imply that the other person made an understatement, and the truth is even stronger than what they said. For example, if your friend says, "That's a big fish," you can respond, "I'll say." It means you agree
and you think the fish is not just big, it's huge. Number 2. Fat chance. This is a sarcastic way to say that there is very little possibility of something happening. The possibility is so small that you think it won't happen. For example, if you and your friend are talking about two sports teams, and your friend says the Red Sox are going to win the championship this year, you can say, "Fat chance, they'll never beat the Yankees." Number 3. I rest my case. Say this when you are expressing a fact or opinion, and something happens to prove your point perfectly and show that you are completely correct. For example, if you tell your friend you can't cook at all, and your friend says, "I cook all the time. I make those instant noodle soups," you can say, "I rest my case," because the fact that he only makes instant noodle soups is proof that he really can't cook. Number 4. What's the catch? Say this when something sounds too good to be true. It means you suspect that there's a hidden problem, which might make the situation not as good as it appears to be. For example, if your friend says, "Dan is going to sell me his car for just $500, you can answer, "What's the catch?" Because you think $500 is too low of a price for the car, so there must be some problem. Number 5. Good call. Use this expression to say the other person made a good decision or smart observation. For example, if you and your friend are trying to decide whether to go to the mall or the movies, and she says, "Let's go to the mall. They're having a big sale this weekend. We can go to the movies anytime." You can answer, "Good call." It means you think her decision was good. Number 6. Take your pick. Say this when you are offering various items for the other person to make a choice. For example, if you are offering tea to your friend, you can say, "I have chai, ginger, green tea, and black tea. Take your pick." You are inviting your friend to make a choice, which type of tea she wants. Number 7. Make yourself at home. Say this to welcome a visitor to your home. You are telling them to sit down, get comfortable, and relax. Number 8. It's a small world, or what a small world. Say this in reaction to an unexpected coincidence. For example, if you meet someone at a conference and you ask, "Where did you go to college?" and the other person says, "Stanford University," you can say, "What a small world. I studied there too." Thanks for watching English Tips from Espresso English. If you liked this video, please share it.
16 English expressions with the words stand and sit from espressoenglish.net. Number 1. Stand tall means to be proud of yourself and confident in your abilities. For example, don't give up because of one loss. Remember to stand tall and try your best the next time. If something makes your hair stand on end, it means it makes you feel very afraid or frightened. For example, that horror movie with the evil ghost made my hair stand on end. Number 3. If you can't stand the sight of someone or something, it means you strongly dislike them so that you don't even want to look at them. For example, she wanted to be a nurse, but she can't stand the sight of blood, so she became a teacher instead. Number 4. Standoffish. If you are standoffish, it means you avoid interacting with other people, or you interact in a slightly rude way that implies you don't like them or you feel superior to them. For example, Barbara is very friendly, but her sister Pam is quite standoffish. She's not the least bit interested in anybody else. Number 5. Stand on your own 2 feet. This expression means to be independent and support yourself financially. For example, you are 24 years old with a college degree. It's time for you to stand on your own 2 feet. Number 6. Stand down. This is when soldiers relax and don't participate in a conflict or fight. For example, after the peace treaty was signed, the commander gave the order for the troops to stand down. Troops are groups of soldiers. Number 7. Not have a leg to stand on. This expression means you don't have evidence or logical points in a debate or argument against someone else. For example, Jess, you don't have a leg to stand on in this argument. You haven't learned the facts. Number 8. Stand still or sit still. These expressions both mean to stay without moving. For example, the antelope stood perfectly still as it listened for sounds of possible predators. Parents usually use the phrase sit still to tell children to stop moving around while sitting. For example, my 5-year-old can't sit still when we go out to eat. He's always playing with his food or kicking the table. Number 9. Sit tight. This is an informal way to tell people to stay in a place and wait patiently. For example, when the bus broke down on the highway, the driver told the passengers to sit tight until another bus could come pick them up. Number 10. To sit by or sit idly by means to see something happen and choose to do nothing about it, to remain passive and not take action. For example, we can't just sit by and watch innocent people suffer. We have to do something. Number 11. Won't stand for it. If you won't stand for something, it means you refuse to allow it to happen. For example, I won't stand for other people taking the credit for my work. Number 12. Not stand a chance. This expression means to have extremely little probability of succeeding or winning. For example, the boxer was far more experienced than his opponent. The other guy didn't stand a chance. Number 13. Take a stand. To take a stand means to publicly express your opinion on something, especially a controversy, saying you support or are against it. For example, in the interview, the politician kept giving vague answers and avoided taking a stand on health care reform. Number 14. Not sit well with someone. This expression is used when a situation makes you feel uncomfortable or slightly offended. For example, that comment she made didn't sit well with me. It felt like she was indirectly trying to make me look bad in front of my boss. Number 15. Sit out. Sit out means not to participate in an activity. For example, my coworkers are going to a karaoke bar, but I don't like that kind of thing, so I'm going to sit this one out. Number 16. Sit up and take notice. If you sit up and take notice, this means you suddenly become alert and start paying attention to something. For example, when the teacher mentioned that the class would go to Disney World, all the students sat up and took notice. Want to learn more idiomatic expressions? Check out the English Idioms course available at espressoenglish.net. The lessons in this course will help you discover English idioms in context and practice them with exercises.
Welcome to the free email course, How to Improve Your English Faster. If you're tired of studying and studying but making little progress in your English, then this course is for you. Although there is no magic way to become fluent in English instantly, there are tips that will help you learn faster and more efficiently, and that's what I'm going to teach you in this course. If you put these lessons into practice, you will definitely improve your English faster and make more progress in your fluency. Ready? Let's get started. The first step is to identify your biggest difficulty. From my experience as a teacher, the 6 biggest English learning problems are: listening. I can't understand native speakers because they talk too fast. Vocabulary. I don't know many words, and I forget everything when I try to speak. Pronunciation. My pronunciation needs improvement, and I'm worried that other people won't understand me. Confidence. I get very nervous when I speak English. Speaking. I can't express my ideas in English, and I speak with a lot of pauses and hesitation. Grammar errors. I make a lot of mistakes when I speak English. In the next 6 emails, you're going to learn specific strategies for solving all of these problems. Tomorrow's email will teach you some strategies for improving your listening skills so that you can understand native speakers better. I would love to hear from you, so don't forget to email me and tell me where you're from and why you're learning English. Thanks. See you tomorrow.